Hello everybody, I'm Maria and welcome back to my Nook. Before I tell you what this video is going to be about, yes, I am sick again, in case you can hear it. I was already sick in my last video, which I filmed about like 2 weeks ago, or I started filming it about 2 weeks ago, and I was already this close to being healthy again, and then bam, I got sick again. So here we are. Anyway, this video is going to be a December monthly reset video. I've seen these videos a couple of times by now, but they only popped up in the area of YouTube that I go to a couple of months ago, and I believe they have existed for much longer, but I just never knew about them. And until now, I also didn't really have the chance to film one of these, but this month I'm like, I have a free slot for next week, and I have a couple of things that I want to do transitioning from November into December. Today is actually December 1st, so it's also the perfect time to do this. And I thought it might be fun to just try this type of format out and see if I'll like it. Maybe I won't, but maybe I will. So what's the plan for this video? First of all, I want to exchange all my autumnal decorations in my apartment for wintry Christmas decorations. To be fair, and to give you a little heads up, I do have a lot more autumnal decorations than I have wintry or Christmassy decorations. I've got a lot of autumnal decorations to take down, and then I've got like 4 winter Christmas themed decorations to put up. So that's not going to be that much to do, but it's going to be something to do. Actually, in case you do count it as wintry Christmassy decoration, I do want to also put up an advent calendar that my mom made for me, and it's like a string that I will string around the rail of my bunk bed, and then I have these tiny little bags that are each filled with, I don't know, a tiny chocolate bar or some gumdrops or whatever for each day leading up to Christmas, you know, and I'm going to attach them to the string. So that's also what I'm going to do, and if you consider that Christmas decoration, then that's Christmas decoration. Then I want to set up my next, not my next reading journal spread, it's going to be my November reading journal spread. And yes, you heard that correctly, not my December reading journal spread, my November reading journal spread, because I am behind on my spreads and I still haven't done my November spread. So that's what I want to do, so I can have that done before December starts properly. After that, I also want to show you a couple of things that I have bought recently or ordered, and they have come in the mail in the last couple of days of November, or today actually. So there's going to be a little mini haul, which is hopefully going to be a lot of fun too. I also want to share with you my very tentative and fragile TBR for December, because I have a couple of books in mind that I want to read in December, but since I am a mood reader and I also never really know how much time it will take me to read a certain book, and then I don't know how much time there will be left in the month for other books. I just never know how my TBR will be going, which is also why I don't usually ever do TBR videos anymore, not for the month, not for the year, not anything. But I am going to share it in this video. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, it is the next day and I am going to get to the things that are still on my list for this video in a moment. But first I want to talk about how I exchanged the autumnal decoration for the winter themed, Christmas themed decorations in my apartment, which I have to say was quite a stark change. Not just because exchanging autumnal decorations for winter and Christmas themed decorations is a stark change in itself because of the different themes, but also because of the amount of decorations. Because I had a lot of autumnal decorations around my apartment before, and now I have only a handful, like very few, as I already mentioned, winter themed, Christmas themed decorations around my apartment, plus the advent calendar that I hung up that you saw, which that is also a stark change, to be honest. But I think I'm still happy with the places that I chose for the decorations and obviously the advent calendar. I've been hanging that advent calendar up in the same spot for years at this point, and I love having the advent calendar up again so I can open one tiny bag every single day. I also finally did my November reading journal spread. I was about to hold it up for you now, but that's nonsense because you just saw it. And I have not added an average rating, a favorite book, and favorite quotes yet because I have yet to decide on those things, and I want to give myself enough time to think about all of that before I commit to anything, and then like 2 days later I'm like, oh, I chose the wrong book or whatever. So I just want to be very sure about that, you know? I didn't really have a lot of inspiration for my November spread, which seems to be a theme because last year I didn't either, and last year my November spread ended up just being colors and shapes, and this year it is pretty much the same thing. However, I do have to say that I like this year's November spread in my reading journal more, even though one of the leaves I drew, oh my god, it looks absolutely awful, absolutely terrible, because I didn't sketch any of those leaves, but I drew them freehand, and that was not the best choice I ever did. But it's fine. I think the spread still turned out pretty fine for the fact that I had so little inspiration, you know? So I think I am quite happy with it, and I am definitely more than happy with the fact that I finally set up my November reading journal spread. So let's now get to a little haul that I have for you with some stationery stuff and books, and then we'll talk about my December TBR. Some pens that I bought at a stationery store yesterday. Actually, it wasn't really a stationery store, it was more of a dollar store, but a dollar store where not everything actually costs only $1, if you know what I mean. So I bought aqua markers that are like dual tip. So they've got big tip on one side and a smaller tip on the other side. And they even have color codes, which I think is really cool, even though I am not sure about how accurate these color codes are, because first of all, the color codes on the packaging already look different than the color codes on the pens. And then I'm 100% sure that they're going to look different on paper too, because also the tips look different than the color codes on the cap, but I'll try to figure that out. In this aqua marker pack, I got potato brown, dark yellow, chestnut brown, light orange, French vermilion, and natural oak. And honestly, most of these colors seem to have a name that is pretty accurate, except for light orange. In what world is this light orange? Like, the tip looks more light orange than the color code on the cap does, but I already did a swab of this on paper and it looks more like the color code on the cap. It looks very like pastel pinkish. So in what world is this light pink? Honestly, no idea, but I actually already used some of these in my November spread and I think I really like the colors. This is the autumnal palette, by the way. They also had like a spring palette, a winter palette, a pastel color palette. I looked through so many of these packages just to find the right palette in which I loved most of the colors, and of course I would choose the autumnal palette, right? And then I also got one of these boxes with basically the same pens, but these aren't aqua markers. I assume they're like water-based, but these are alcohol-based, and I don't think I've ever had alcohol-based markers. They're also dual tip like the other ones that I just showed you. There's 12 inside this one. There's yellow, cherry pink, pale lilac, pale lavender, baby blue, turquoise blue, cool shadow, spectrum green, mahogany, burnt orange, baby skin pink, which I hate that they chose that name for this color, and then there's black, and they have basically the same tips as the other ones. However, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even sure if I can use these in my reading journal because I've never used alcohol-based pens before. I don't think, definitely not in my reading journal. This is the pastel palette. They also had a winter palette, autumn palette, spring palette, stuff like that for these alcohol-based markers, but I chose the pastel colors because I just like them most. And yeah, I'll see how I can use them. I've been thinking about buying pens like that forever, but most of the ones that you can find online or that people recommend are like really expensive, and these weren't, and I thought that was a good way of trying them out first before I commit to really expensive pens, you know? So I'm really happy about that decision and I can't wait to use them more often. Next up, I received a package in the mail yesterday because my absolute favorite shop, Möhrenkunst shop, had a Black Friday sale. We all know I love Möhrenkunst shop over here. And obviously I bought stuff. So let's open this package. First up, I bought this snowman sticker sheet, which is so absolutely adorable, so cute. And oh my gosh, they even have a new design for their little thank you card. Look at that. I love that. That's so cute. And then there's also a new freebie inside. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. I love that. So first up, we have a bluish flower washi tape with gold foil. I think this looks so incredibly pretty. And then they also designed a washi tape, which was inspired by the song Vincent by, oh my gosh, I cannot remember the artist's name, but I know that song through the movie Loving Vincent, which is a hand-painted animated movie. Every single picture, every single scene you see is hand-painted in the style of Vincent van Gogh, and oh my gosh, I love that movie so much. It is basically about the story of Vincent van Gogh, so that's how I know that song, and I just think it's absolutely beautiful. And this washi tape is inspired by it. It actually has the lyrics of the song written on it, and I think the lyrics of that song are so beautiful. They're a little heartbreaking, but they're so beautiful. So when I saw this washi tape, I was like, I need to buy this. There's no way I'm not going to buy this. I think this is so absolutely gorgeous, and I cannot wait to use this in my reading journal. I know I already have so much washi tape, but I just could not say no to those washi tapes. So yeah, that was all the stationery stuff that I wanted to show you, and now I am going to show you the 2 books that I bought. So first up, I have to take the sticker off of this book. We got a sequel of a book that I read recently. It was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillick, and I really did enjoy that book. The sequel came out rather recently in October, I believe, and I ordered it immediately after finishing One Dark Window. It only came in the mail now because they had like issues, I guess. It is Two Twisted Crowns, also by Rachel Gillick, and I am really excited to get into this book, hopefully soon, because the first book in this series ended on quite the cliffhanger, not gonna lie. I'm really happy I have this on hand now, so I can just pick it up whenever I feel like it. But yeah, this is the first book. I'm also glad I managed to grab the right edition of this book that matches the first book in the series. And now, oh my gosh, this is a book that I have been thinking about buying for months already, but I just never did. And now the bookstore had a Black Friday sale, and I had a coupon code, so I got this book for $4, and I was like, I need to buy this book. The moment I got this coupon code, I instantly knew which book I was going to buy with that, and it is the collector's edition of This Savage Song. First of all, look at how pretty this cover is. At first, when I first saw this cover, I didn't really like it, but now it's grown on me. And I also really like the spine of the book. And what I like even more are the edges. Look at that. I think these are stenciled edges. I don't quite know. I just cracked open this hardback, which felt kind of painful. But there's also end papers like these. And on the back, I think, yeah, they're the same end papers, but like still cool. Is there anything under? Ooh, I didn't know this, but that's so cool. There's actually also something on the hardcover case. Look at that. I love this. The spine is, there's nothing on the back. The spine is just, as I already mentioned, I had been thinking about buying this collector's edition for months already. I read This Savage Song in March of this year, and the sequel, Our Dark Duet, in April. And I loved those books so much. I love that world so much. I love the characters so much. And I haven't really stopped thinking about the books and the characters and the world ever since I finished the series. I kept thinking about the books, you know? And then at some point I found out that there is this collector's edition, and I immediately thought that these edges are so cool, especially because they fit the book so well. And then I kept thinking maybe I want to buy it, maybe not, but then I thought, I'm not really collecting special editions of any books. But then I started with that. I bought the collector's edition of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder from Waterstones. I bought the Owl Crate special edition of The Fragile Threads of Power. And then I got that coupon code, and I was like, you know what? I might as well buy this book. Like, it wasn't that expensive to begin with. It would have cost like $20 or something if I had paid if I had paid the full price for it, which is like a normal price for a hardcover. And it's an even better price considering that this is not a normal hardcover, it's a collector's edition. But I only paid $4 for it with the Black Friday sale and my coupon code. So I was like, this is basically almost a free book. You know what I mean? So I bought it, and I cannot wait to be displaying this on my shelf. Although I'm not sure, like this whole time I thought I would only display the edges like this. But now that I've seen the cover in real life, I'm like, maybe I want to display this cover. But also, the front of the hardcover case looks so cool as well. So I've got a bit of a dilemma on my hands there. Again, because so many books are way too pretty and I never know how to display them. Also because I have way too little space on my shelves. But anyway, I'm so happy I own this book now. Oh, so great. Sorry in case the camera angle changed slightly. I had to change the battery. But that takes me to the next point on my list, because I should probably stop babbling about the books and the other stuff that I bought, because I still want to talk about my very, very fragile and very, very tentative December TBR. So the first book I definitely want to and will finish in December is Brother Band: The Outcasts by John Flanagan. Now, this is the first book in the Brother Band series, or the Brother Band Chronicles, I believe is also what some people call this series. This is a companion series to the Ranger's Apprentice series by John Flanagan. And I started reading this book in November. I actually read like 80% of this book in November, and I had even planned on finishing this book by the end of November, but then I got sick and that kind of kept me from being able to actually finish this book in November. But now I only have like 50 pages-ish left in this book, so I'm almost 100% sure that I will be able to finish this book today. And once I did that, I want to read A Curse for True Love by Stephanie Garber. That is the third book in the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. I don't even know if that series has an actual name to itself, but I believe most of you will know what I'm talking about. I did not actually like the first and second book in that series too much, even though I love Stephanie Garber's writing style. I love the Caraval trilogy, and I love the world that both the Caraval trilogy and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series are set in. But like, Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After just somehow did not do it for me. I still want to read A Curse for True Love though, because A, The Ballad of Never After kind of ended on a cliffhanger, and B, I read Once Upon a Broken Heart last year in, oh my god, was it June? I think it was June. And then I read The Ballad of Never After right when it came out. Did it come out in September? I believe so. So both of them were among the first fantasy books that I read as an adult. And now I have already been reading fantasy books again for over a year, and I've got so many more fantasy books under my belt that I think maybe my taste has changed. Maybe I would enjoy Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After more or differently if I would read them now. So I still want to give A Curse for True Love another shot. I think maybe it's going to surprise me. Who knows, honestly. I just want to give it another chance, I guess, especially considering that more than a year has passed and things change, you know? Sometimes when you read a book and you don't like it, it might just be the right book at the wrong time. So we'll see. After that, I also want to read another book in a series because I'm planning on reading Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick. I already mentioned that. This is the sequel to One Dark Window. I haven't read the synopsis or anything. I just knew that I enjoyed One Dark Window and would want to continue the series. So that's what I'm planning on doing now that I have the paperback at home. After that, I do want to read the second book in the Brother Band series, which is called The Invaders, I believe, because this series is also part of the Ranger's Apprentice readathon that Cassandra Lynn hosts together with her friend. And this one was actually the book of November, and The Invaders will be the book of December, so I'm planning on reading that one as well. I just don't have a copy of it at home yet, but once I do, I want to read that book too, and hopefully I will get to it in December. If, big if, there is still time for me to read more books in December. Once I have read the books that I just mentioned, I might read A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 5th book in the Veronica Speedwell series, and I read the 4th book of the series in, I think it was August. So long ago, honestly, and I love that series so much. I love the 4th book so much. I was so excited to jump into the 5th book, but then I just had so many other books on my TBR and on my plate, and so many other books I wanted to get to that I just did not find the time yet. But I really want to get back into the series, especially because the 8th book, I think it was the 8th book, is going to be coming out rather soon. Or was it the 9th book? I think the 8th book is already out. I think the 9th book will be coming out rather soon. So I definitely want to continue this series if there's still time left in the month for me to read more books. But yeah, that is my very tentative TBR. It might change. We'll see what I'll be in the mood for, how much time I will have to read. Stuff like that can always change my reading, obviously. But yeah, these are the books that I would like to get to, that I'm thinking of possibly reading in December. And yeah, that was all I wanted to talk about in this video. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and maybe let me know down in the comments, what is your TBR for December? Or do you do any type of activities to reset for the month? And if you don't want to tell me any of that, you can just tell me anything else you would like to tell me. Other than that, I will see you guys somewhere else on the internet or in my next video. Bye!